is thought of from the way that you presented it as maybe an interim step, as something that can be implemented right now before other things come along. How do you see it in terms of a spectrum of solutions?
Sure. So I see things in two ways: tools and standards. And the tools that we create in ads.txt is a tool. And for right now, for the foreseeable future, to me that means 1 to 2 years. It will be a way for publishers and buyers to implement something that they can communicate together on where they can, A, buy the inventory, and then obviously the flip side, denoting who is allowed to sell their inventory, right? But I think the goal is, in the tech lab, is to create a supply chain protocol that will be robust enough to cover a lot more of these types of problems in a more elegant engineering way, right? JSON or
right.
Things that are more advanced. Yes.
Okay. And then kind of a question for both of you, because in both cases you've presented these approaches as a solution to a variety of types of fraud, and you had a wonderful, elaborate slide that showed, the ones that we know about, at least right now. It seems as though new ones get discovered all of the time. But domain spoofing being one of the main ones, and one of the ones that are a big problem for the quality content companies that want to monetize their content, and other people are out there monetizing it instead. So if these guys are that clever, how can we know that they won't be able to somehow hack these solutions?
They absolutely will hack
it.
It's just a question of partnering together as an industry to watch the patterns, right? Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, nothing is ever unhackable. I don't care what it is. Okay. But I do think for things like ads.txt, and I'll let you go and talk about the blockchain and the immutability of it, et cetera, I do think that having the conversation is the first step, right? Denoting who to actually buy from is really important.
Right. I think Kurt Anderson earlier today said it well, that the media buyers have not just the power, but almost a responsibility to buy media responsibly. And ads.txt is an eloquent solution to provide transparency in the supply chain. And with a scraper that's built, you can understand in real time, or you can reference the ads.txt file that's hosted by the publisher, who is authorized to sell this inventory on behalf of this publisher. And if you don't see someone on that list, you shouldn't be paying them. That would be irresponsible. Because chances are, if they're not on that list and this list is kept up to date, then they're either spoofing or they're just trying to insert themselves in the supply chain, only extracting value. So I think advertisers and media buyers have a lot of influence and the opportunity to help the industry kind of turn things around from a fraud perspective. The blockchain is not just providing transparency in the supply chain. But really, it's a coordination platform, and we're looking forward to the opportunity to collaborate with the IAB Tech Labs to, discuss the solutions that we've been working on, what we've learned, some of the challenges that we're facing, some of the challenges that you're facing, and really collaborate and come together to solve the problems. Because if we're competitive, we kind of find ourselves in the same, place, and we don't fix the problem. Meanwhile, bad actors and fraudsters are taking home some serious cash and extracting value from the supply chain. Right. So I'd rather exert energy and spend our time and effort rather than competing, working together. And this morning we just announced a partnership with the Data and Marketing Association. So we're working with the trade orgs on this new blockchain initiative. And we're looking to expand that initiative and continue the conversation, and would love to work with you guys.
With the Direct Marketing Association, the DMA?
Yes, the now Data and Marketing Association.
Is that what they call it now? Mm-hmm. Okay. So the sort of standard procedure in the media and advertising industry thus far across other media has been built, at least in the United States, around the voluntary participation in audits. And measurement companies, and the ones that on your chart are sort of companies that provide tools to try to prevent or to sort of verify, say, things like viewable impressions. Companies like Moat and various others are in the current paradigm, kind of subjected to process audits that then provide some market assurance that they're doing what they say they're doing. And of course, that's an arduous process, and audits sort of give a snapshot in time as compared to something like what you've described here that would be providing sort of an ongoing source of information. How do you see blockchain fitting into that ecosystem and connecting to that existing paradigm?
I think blockchain technology allows for enforceable governance. I think the development of smart contracts can ensure compliancy with new and ever-changing data privacy laws and environment climates in our industry. For example, if you're a multinational company and you're building your business on digital marketing and data, you're going to be aware of the new data privacy laws that are going into effect in Europe next year. And with significant fines, how do you ensure compliancy if you get audited? Are you doing the right things to be able to prove compliancy? And with smart contracts and a blockchain protocol, you can transact in real time at an operational level and guarantee compliancy. And if you're audited, you can prove that you've been compliant with how you've been monetizing this data, distributing data, or tracking data.
It sounds like it could even be used for paying the consumer back for their data.
This is the fascinating part about digital currencies, cryptocurrencies, and what they're calling Web3, which is a blockchain internet. Now that's down the road, but what these technologies allow for is the opportunity to bring the consumer into the picture in ways that were not possible before. To give an example, if an impression is worth something, then there could be a rev share with the user, and the user could participate, in the conversation between the advertiser and the content creator, the publisher. And if we actually built out internally a proof of concept where the user gets a percentage of the revenue from the advertisement, and then they have the opportunity to give some of that back to the publisher, and they bid against the advertiser. And if they win that bid, then they don't see the ad. But the publisher still gets paid.
He's trying that. Optimal did before they went over to Facebook, and then also Brave has been trying a couple of different tactics on the Bitcoin side, on the browser side. Yeah, no, I agree. I want to go one step further, because you're talking about auditing, and you're talking about the U.S. market. Once currency goes global, right? If this takes off, it seems it's doing a pretty good job. It's at 3,000, at least the Bitcoin piece of it. The markets will shift. I got into a bit of an argument with State Street on the stage at MIT about this, where their feeling was, well, we would never change the paradigm of finance because interest rates. We need interest rates. We need all of these things. We need to make money off these things. Why? I think that the concept of auditing, as it stands right now, will change. That's my personal opinion.
Okay, great.
I think you could fight the inevitable. I mean, this blockchain technology is inevitable. It is currently disrupting finance. It has been for years. And if you look at the adoption, when you compare it to the adoption of the internet in the early 90s, it's blowing past that adoption curve. It's being deployed in different industries outside of finance. We have companies like IBM, Microsoft. We even have governments that are onboarding their entire, organizational structure and framework on the blockchain. So it's real. It's just a matter of working together to figure out how to implement this technology, given who you are, your respective business or organization, and then figuring out how this is all going to come together. And what's been a learning experience for our team is the importance of governance, because regardless of you could have a blockchain, you could have smart contracts, you have cryptography and math, it adds up, you can see it, makes sense. But we're people, and because we're people, we're not binary, there's going to be disputes. And regardless of how efficient this technology may be, we still need governance. And that's where I think we've come to the realization that it's more important than ever for us to come together to solve the problems. The technology is amazing. It's just how do we implement it?
I agree. Well, it looks like we're out of time, so I'll just call a close here, and other questions can be deferred to the cocktail hour, okay? And we do hope that even though that beta is private, that we'll find a way for the results of that to kind of be introduced and
we'll be publishing a scientific case study to showcase the value of a blockchain-based protocol for digital advertising.
Yeah, great. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.